Inside these aluminum tanks of liquid nitrogen are the bodies and heads of roughly 200 people.
She's super gluing nails into swings.
Let's talk about these satanic after-school clubs for kids.
That China makes fake babies.
Welcome back, everyone, to more creepy TikToks, and let's dive in.
Wait. Holy shit, that thing is nasty.
I guess the lesson he learned that day is never grab a fish by its mouth.
When you don't sleep well, your brain literally begins eating itself. During your sleep, your brain gets rid of old neurons to make way for new ones and new connections. And the cells that do this are called astrocytes and microglial cells. And they do this using a process called phagocytosis, which looks like this. But when you don't sleep for a really long time, the microglial cells begin devouring your brain. The microglial cells become more active. They go overboard and begin eating neurons that are not just old, but also fresh. The problem is, this process is irreversible, and if you try to recover it by sleeping more, whatever is gone is gone. This leads to the loss of synaptic connections, and because of this, you lose a big chunk of your brain, which leads to the early onset of Alzheimer's, dementia, and Parkinson's.
I don't know about any of you guys, but for me, I don't sleep very well, so that's definitely a new fear unlocked.
Yeah, this is actually happening, and women are giving birth to several pound balls of skin with teeth, hair, and eyes growing out of it. People were terrified after one woman shared she thought she was pregnant, and the doctors were shocked when they noticed it was something as heavy as a baby, but did not have a heartbeat, but did have teeth, skin, hair, and full eyeballs, with even horrifying news reports of a 16-year-old having a miniature brain and skull removed from her ovaries.
It's a cyst that grows hair and teeth.
It can happen to men, but 4 times more likely in women, and if you have symptoms like unexplained swelling in parts of the body and stomach pain, you need to go to the doctor immediately. These are specific germ cells that have the ability to mimic any other cells in the body, which include reproductive cells, causing random growths similar to organs, and can even excrete pregnancy hormones to mimic a baby, known as a dermoid cyst or teratoma. Fortunately, this is super rare, however still terrifying.
So I guess men can get pregnant after all. It's just, you know, our babies look more like aliens rather than actual babies. But yeah, if you want to get more information on teratomas, you can visit clevelandclinic.org. God definitely gave her a second chance, but honestly, rewind that clip back because that was an actual glitch in the Matrix. That car literally came out of nowhere.
Caralho, sei lá. Caralho, me arrepiei todinho. Filmando. E caiu. Caralho, sei lá. Caralho, me arrepiei todinho. Filmando. E caiu.
I couldn't even tell you what that was, to be honest. You know, I would say it was probably Chinese lanterns, but they're way too big to be Chinese lanterns, like.
There's water in the bottom of the boat on that side. Oh my god. Oh my god.
That is terrifying. You know, when you're out and about and you're having a good day's crack and a good bit of fun, you should always be expected to come home. And I hope for these guys that they were able to do so as well. Usually I would say he's definitely getting a sack, but who's actually in the wrong here? You know, the guy pushing the stairs away, or the guy not looking where he was going and falling to the ground?
Stop listening to music. It's bad because it reprograms your subconscious mind by putting you in a hypnotic state. You want to dance or do something when you listen to music because it puts you in hypnosis. You remember the lyrics so vividly because it rewrites your subconscious mind. Every word they are saying in the song is molding and shaping your mind in some form or way. Why do you think you want to hurt someone when you listen to drill music, or want to dance hard when you listen to techno? You listen to music you literally cannot think because it's putting you in hypnosis. Spotify and Apple Music are all tuned to 440 Hz, which shuts down the right hemisphere of your brain because they do not want you thinking creatively or intuitionally. Music creates thought loops within your mind. This is why you feel nostalgia when you listen to an old song you used to listen when you were a child. The repetitive music and beats creates thought loops in your mind. In nature, nothing is repeating. Everything is constantly transforming. It's the same with your mind. Your mind should be constantly transforming to bigger and better things. Listen to music in 432 Hz or 528 Hz and make sure it has no demonic lyrics and no repetitive choruses.
Believe it or not, but classical music is quite enjoyable to listen to. You know, if you stick on like Mozart's greatest hits on YouTube, for example, I can guarantee within 5 minutes your thought process will change.
Now, I got something to ask you. When the fuck have you ever seen a sunflower turn away from the sun? What the fuck we got here? A whole field of sunflowers turning away from what it's supposed to be the sun. But I think we're all starting to put the pieces together, aren't we? That there's something going on in the skies. All the shit that they're spraying, the way that the sun looks, it's fucking white now. It used to be fucking orange, right? It's just like, looks like a spotlight. I've seen some shit up in the skies. I've seen some shit up next to the sun. If you look at it, I'm telling you, there's something going on. Yeah, a lot of us are starting to say this, and I don't think it could be any more obvious than seeing a field of sunflowers turning away from the sun. That shit just, it's impossible. It's implausible.
I'm probably being really ignorant here, but I honestly don't know much about sunflowers. But is it possible that maybe as the seasons change, you know, the behavior of sunflowers change as well?
Freezing patients after they die so that one day they may live again. Fox 6's Jackie Ibanez has more. Inside these aluminum tanks of liquid nitrogen are the bodies and heads of roughly 200 people. The canisters are housed at an Alcor Life Extension Foundation's facility in Scottsdale, Arizona, where the patients inside, many of whom passed away from terminal illnesses, are preserving their bodies for the future.
Instead of just disposing of the patient, give them to us. We're going to stabilize them, stop them getting worse, and hold them for as long as it takes for technology to catch up and allow them to come back to life.
In order to be cryogenically frozen, a person must first be declared legally dead. But biologically, Alcor officials say a person's organs and body can be saved almost indefinitely.
Dying is a process, and cryonics stops that process.
Using a medical dummy, officials show how an ice bath, mechanical CPR device, and a respirator cool down a patient's body. Various medications are also used to prevent cells from damaging over time. Patients are then wrapped in what's referred to as a sleeping bag before placed inside their tank.
Once that's happened, the body becomes a true solid, and absolutely nothing is happening in the body.
These people are just trying to play God. You know, once you've moved on, that's it, your spirit moves on with it. You're not going to drag your spirit back to your body like 30 years or 100 years later. Honestly, ask yourself this question: if you were to pass on, would you really want to come back to this place?
Is on the lot. It's not on the grass anymore, and it's somersaulted all the way down there. So from
what speed were they going in order for that car to roll so many times?
This strange video of a thunderstorm on Reddit has left many viewers perplexed as to what is happening in this video, with some people even suggesting that an angel has fell out of the sky. Now in this video it's just a view of a thunderstorm, but a lightning strike comes down, and once it hits the ground, it stays in the sky for a long period of time. But did you see what happened? As the lightning strike is dissipating, something falls out of the clouds. Just watch. Now, a lot of people are simply saying that this is a raindrop, but if you watch the video, you can see it come out of the clouds. You don't see it any other time on the screen. So I don't believe that that's what this is. Also, it does not explain why the lightning strike stays in the air for such a long period of time. I do have it slowed down and brightened here so you can see whatever this object is better. But a lot of people think that it's some sort of angelic being, while some even suggest that it could be some sort of UFO or alien pod. Whatever this object is, it is a very strange video. What do you think?
That looks way too big to be a raindrop, and it also looks way too big to be a bird. So the only conclusion I can come to is either a plane or maybe like a hot air balloon.
A man who vanished 27 years ago has been found in a cellar just 200 metres away from his family. Omar bin Omran vanished aged 17 in Algeria, and his family believed he had been killed in the civil war. But 3 decades later, Omar's been found alive in his neighbour's house, in a hole in the ground covered with stacks of hay. His family dog even reportedly pined for him, recognising by his smell that he was near. A 61-year-old man has been taken into police custody.
This world is whack sometimes. I mean, how did he even manage to survive for so long in that one cellar? And more so to the point, what was the actual purpose of him being put there in the first place?
This is absolutely mind-blowing. Recent research has suggested that plants aren't only sentient, but are intelligent on levels we never would have imagined possible. Check this out.
There's been a revolution in vegetal biology. Science now shows that plants appear to be sentient beings. They perceive light, smell, touch, water, and many more variables than we do. They can learn, remember, and communicate. They exhibit the traits that we associate with personhood. Experimental science has confirmed that plants can see when you're standing next to them and the color of your shirt. They don't have eyes, but they have the same photoreceptor proteins all over their bodies that humans have at the back of the retina. A plant may not have a brain, but it acts like a brain, says Narby. The word neuron comes from the Greek for vegetal fiber. Neurons actually look like the cut of the inside of a plant. Research over the past 30 years has illuminated a profound intelligence throughout nature. Dolphins and many other animals recognize themselves in a mirror, long a scientific measure of intelligence. Pigeons have better memory for paintings than do college students. But you gotta give it up for slime molds. In every single test, these single-celled, brainless, mucus-like blobs that can reach the size of a human hand perfectly solve mazes, another measure of intelligence. Slime molds are so expert at setting up intelligent tubing networks that biomimetic researchers are studying them to successfully design solutions to traffic problems and pipeline architecture.
I can't help but think of that sunflower clip now, to be honest with you. But yeah, the slime mold video is unreal. If you haven't seen it yet, go ahead and check it out. It's really fascinating.
What is the world coming to when people are purposely going to parks and actually supergluing nails into swings and slides in order to hurt our children? Here's a picture of the slide with the nail superglued into it, hoping a child will go down. And before I did show you the picture of the swing. Now this happened last weekend, and I'm making this video for awareness because I know for sure, now that I have seen this, I will check every single time my children are at the park. Now, thankfully, in this case, which happened in Marcham in Oxfordshire, no children were actually injured before adults realised what had happened. Now, the park itself is less than 200 yards from a Church of England primary school and nursery, and is sometimes used by the nursery children. Now, this is absolutely horrific that somebody would go out of their way to plant danger to children in a place that is designed and there just for children to use, to get joy from. I just wanted to make this post so that people are aware that this is a thing, and just to always check, because I know, like for myself, like my kids will get through the park gate and they'll just rush off to whatever they want to go on the most, swing, slides, whatever. So I will be taking more precaution.
I don't care how young you are or how old you are, and I don't care if you're doing it for a bit of crack or if you're doing it maliciously. To be doing something like that to innocent young lives just shows us the level of hatred and evil that these people have in their hearts.
And breaking right now, the Pelican Island Causeway in Galveston is shut down after it was hit by a barge. A train trestle attached to the bridge appears to have collapsed onto that barge. The bridge is closed to public traffic in both directions, though we have seen first responders on the bridge itself over the last few minutes. On top of that, there's now an oil spill in this area. We're still working to learn what caused the barge to hit the bridge, but fortunately, no reports of any injuries at this time.
At this stage, the hierarchy is either doing two things. They're either trying to destroy the people or they're trying to repair the people. But there's definitely something weird going on over the past few years between these train derailments, you know, weak infrastructure as it is when it comes to bridges, never mind having folks smashing into them left, right and center, oil spills, you know, chemical spills, the list goes on. You know, if there's one thing I've learned from today between that fair ride and the party boat earlier on, is that life flashes before your eyes. You know, 1 minute you're there, you're having a crack, you're having the time of your life, and then the next minute you're waking up in a coma. I'm not disputing in the slightest that ancient technology didn't exist, because I think we all know that it did. But what I am disputing is the fact that there's a hieroglyph showing an Egyptian inside of a Mercedes car. I mean, you know, that's gotta be fake, like.
They see me rolling, they hate it.
Very happy. This is scary. Isn't it weird? How we all use our phones 24/7, but we never see them or use them in our dreams. Even all the other technologies like TVs and laptops, you just won't see them in a dream. Some people think that this proves that we're actually living inside a simulation because something is stopping you from seeing something on your unconscious level.
I don't think it's evidence to show that we are living inside of a simulation, but it is a bit weird because for me personally, I've never had a dream where I've had any form of technology.
You guys are awesome! Oh my goodness! So I just recently came out with a brand new
Less than 2 hours after that video was filmed, the girl on stage in that video would be dead. Her name was Christina Grimmie. She was a famous singer here in America and she was murdered in 2016. So Christina had been making music and performing all of her life, but her real rise to fame started when she was on the show The Voice. After Christina was on The Voice, the world kind of opened up for her. She made her major label debut, she started going on tours all across the world, and she was a rising star. Sadly though, she attracted the attention of a very disturbed individual who can actually be seen here in footage from her final show, creepily watching Christina perform from the crowd, knowing what he was about to do. That man was 27-year-old Kevin James Loibl. So Christina's performance that evening ended at about 10 p.m. And afterwards, she moved over to a little booth to sign autographs for people who had come to the show. At around 10:24 p.m., Kevin approached Christina. Christina, thinking he was just like every other fan there, opened her arms up to give him a big hug. But that's when Kevin retrieved a Glock pistol from his person and shot her 3 times at point-blank range. After the shots rang out, Christina's brother tackled Kevin to the ground. Yes, sadly, Christina's brother was there working the booth with her that evening. But after a fight, Kevin managed to get himself free, he retrieved his Glock, and he took his own life right next to Christina's body. Sadly, Christina had been shot twice in the chest and once in the head. And by 10:59 p.m., not even a full hour after she finished her performance, Christina Grimmie was pronounced dead. Afterwards, Kevin's family left this note for the media. This was all they had to say after the tragedy. But fans even to this day remember Christina as an amazing singer and talk about the potential that she had if she hadn't been taken from this world so quickly.
It's sad because she had so much of her life ahead of her, you know, and in terms of the guy himself, the only reason why I think he did that to her and then did it to himself after was because in some weird way he probably thought that them two could be together in like a new life.
So I'm sure you've heard that the Pope will be addressing the world about aliens and supernatural life. Who better than the Pope? I'll explain why in a minute. But yes, it's very true and it's happening tomorrow. And this was shortly after the Vatican started preparing guidelines for apparitions and other supernatural phenomena. But specifically appearances or communication with divine beings such as saints, angels, or Christ himself. This is not new behavior for the Vatican. I wonder who that is. They'll say that's Jesus too. Now the Vatican holds one of the biggest telescopes that we have, and they literally call it Lucifer. Now you'll Google and say, oh, that's not true. But there are still traces of it on Google. Lucy, originally named Lucifer, large binocular telescope near infrared, except blah blah blah. And here's a 2010 article from Popular Science. Lucifer instrument helps astronomers see through darkness to the most distant observable objects. And that's not the only thing at the Vatican having to do with Lucifer, the serpent, the light bringer. Your eyes aren't deceiving you. So why is the Vatican obsessed with space? Maybe it's because fallen angels are real and they're flying around right now and we're about to meet them. This is in Belgium, but it's also said that under the Vatican there's a statue of Lucifer, the Lightbringer. They are obsessed with Satan. Something is really off by the Vatican. They say the eyes are the windows to the soul. Do y'all see these people's eyes? There was also a priest in the Vatican who said that Satan himself was in there. Oh yeah, this ancient painting, isn't that a pope with a dagon hat? Anyways, these people have dedicated their lives to watching the skies, to watch possibly fallen angels, demons, and other things we don't know about just yet. So who really knows what to expect? What do y'all think they're going to say tomorrow?
To me, the Vatican is the home to Satan. You know, I remember thinking to myself way back in 2013 when the Basilica got struck by lightning that even the Antichrist was there then. And then when I seen Pope Francis, even nowadays when I see him, he just creeps me out. There's something really off about the fella. And I think with him and, you know, Kenneth Copeland, like, them two would get along like a house on fire.
I'm not missing that dedication in Jerusalem.
Let's talk about these satanic after-school clubs for kids. Federal judge orders Pennsylvania school district to allow after-school Satan club. We're starting to see these clubs all over the United States. We've seen them from Ohio, North Carolina, and now in Pennsylvania. And of course the Temple of Satan is sponsoring all of this. This is truly demonic. Seeing little kids who know no better worship Satan. Little kids. When I was in kindergarten, first grade, what was that? I was playing Minecraft, bro. I still be playing Minecraft here.
You know you're in crazy times when you see wee children attending an after-school Satan club.
Did you know that China makes fake babies? Yes, China is now making fake babies which are called reborn dolls. These dolls are made of silicone or vinyl. The dolls are first sculpted from the material, then painted, weighted, and added detail so that they gain more realism. Reborn dolls have almost the same facial expressions as a normal baby, and people buy these dolls not only for playing, but also for curing their loneliness and getting rid of anxiety.
We can all see the agendas they are trying to put in place as well as the population control. So the question here is, how long before they start to substitute real babies for fake babies? That's all I have for you today, guys, but if you enjoyed the compilation, smash that like button and subscribe button, and let's try and hit that 25,000 subscriber special. But until the next video, look after yourselves, stay safe and stay blessed, and I'll see you then.